Hey D&D fam, I'm Quick.
And I'm Lee, and you're listening to
Divas and Ducats. So what is a diva? I think divas get a bad rep, but to me, diva is all about the attitude.
As for ducats, it's your finances, your assets, Skrilla, guap, your coin. We're talking all things with the potential to affect your pockets.
And while we're attorneys by trade, we are divas by choice. Divas and Ducats is for edutainment purposes.
Y'all, we are not Series 511 or 703 professionals. This does not create a financial advisor or attorney-client relationship. The views expressed here are solely our opinions and the opinions of our guests.
It's just our opinions, y'all. Okay, divas, let's talk Ducats. Welcome back, Diva family. How are you? So as you can see, I am here all by myself. Lee is going to be joining us virtually, right? Lee, what are we going to be talking about today? You are here. You're just over there. What are we going to be talking about today?
So today we are getting into passion into purpose words. So a lot of people are interested in, starting their own businesses or just trying to monetize outside of their 9 to 5. Maybe they have a hobby that they want to turn into something else, a little coin.
Right.
Because as you know, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So, do what we can. And so we wanted to bring a few people in and just discuss the topic that are doing their thing within their passion. And so today we have Legally Domesticated.
We are so excited to have Legally Domesticated on. Chandra, can you introduce yourself and tell the Diva family about yourself and even just talk about Legally Domesticated? Like, tell us all about yourself. Where are you?
Hey, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I am an attorney by trade. I was a criminal defense lawyer for 6 years in Orlando, Florida, before moving to Charlotte with my then boyfriend, now husband.
Okay. Good move then.
Yeah,
Good move.
Right.
And then part-time as like my hobby, my way of just getting my zen. I'm a part-time home decor influencer on Instagram, known as Legally Domesticated. And basically what that means is that brands will partner with me to introduce products that they have. I also, do DIYs, share affordable home decor finds. I'm pretty much just focused around home decor, but I do sprinkle in a little bit of lifestyle in there. So you might see some of my kids pop up on my feed. Might try to put a picture of my husband in there every now and then.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what I do.
I love it. And so let's talk about this criminal defense. Do you still practice criminal defense work here?
No.
Okay.
And
look, been there. I understand.
when I got the opportunity to give my month notice to the public defender's office, I mean, you can imagine after being there for 6 years, it's like in a constant state of ready for trial. I was ready to give the deuces.
Right.
And you don't want an attorney who's ready to give the deuces. So it was time for us to part ways. It was a beautiful experience. I've met some of the best friends I'll ever have for life, but I was ready to go. And I don't ever want to go back.
That's exactly how I feel about the practice. I was a prosecutor, assistant district attorney, then did private defense, criminal defense, and I'm the same way. Like when it was time to go, I was welcoming the change and do not ever want to go back. So
you got to know when to fold on.
That burnout is real.
It really, really, really is. So were in Florida? Like, how did you know that you had this decorating gene?
Well, I did not at all.
Okay.
It's taken so many people in my life by surprise, but when we moved to Charlotte, we moved into an apartment and, we got engaged, married, had a baby, started looking for a house, right, to grow our family. And we built, I believe, in 2015. and moving from an apartment to a home, you have a bunch of empty rooms, and it was just the two of us. I was pregnant, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I want to make the right decisions. I don't know what decisions to make. I want to take my time. I want to buy the things that I want to buy. So, I just started focusing really on watching HGTV. And that was where I got a lot of like inspiration, I would say. Fixer Upper, in particular, was like my show. And then I started kind of looking on Instagram, and I noticed that a bunch of people, just random people like, me and you, were posting pictures of their home, and they had like 30,000 followers, 40,000 followers. And a lot of them were associated with an app called Like to Know It, where you could follow them on their app and you could see where they purchased all their home decor.
Okay.
So that's where I got a lot of my ideas to decorate. And then one day I was just like, I think I could do this too. So I just started posting, on my regular old Instagram account with my followers that knew who I was. It was a little nerve wracking because I'm like, do they really want to see a picture of my living room every day? But I started to do that, and that's basically how I got started, and it just kind of grew from there.
And when you mentioned, go ahead, Lee.
No, I was just going to say probably the same question. So you talk about social media and just 30,000, 40,000 followers. And I think, love it or hate it, like, we're in a social media world, and that's how people drive their business. So how did you go about building your following, or, in order to monetize it ultimately? Because that's, what a lot of people are trying to do.
Right. And so in order to monetize it, you do have to have a following of some sort, because who's your audience then, right? If the brand's reaching out to you and you've got 10 followers, you're not communicating with anybody.
Right.
So the goal is to grow. And you'd be surprised the number of people who are on Instagram doing the same thing that I'm doing. And it's a community of women, mostly, some men. And they'll like what you're doing and they'll follow you, so you'll follow them back. And then from there, just the engagement that you get on your photos and your videos that you post, Instagram notices that engagement and will push your content out to a broader audience where they can discover you and say, oh, I like that picture of her, living room or her garden or whatever it is, and click that follow button. So, that's how you can grow your follower count organically.
Right.
There's obviously other ways you can do it, which I don't suggest. I don't know if you want to get into that now or later, but that's one of the things I would say avoid doing, and like kind of one of the lessons I've had to learn along the way. But yeah, definitely growing that follower count organically like that, just putting out good content that people want to see, basically. And it'll happen. It's a slow process. But it'll definitely happen. And, you don't need 30,000 followers to monetize your business or your account. You really don't. You just start a business account and start posting, and you have a business account. And then the followers will come eventually if you're putting out the content that people are interested in. So,
yeah. And I think that's important to hear, that it's a slow process, right? Because I think a lot of times when we're looking at businesses, we're looking at brands, and some people, they are their brand, right? We see the highlight reel. We're seeing them basking in, the fruits of it, but we don't necessarily see the grind. People, I'm sure I said a long time ago, we don't show when we're crying in the closet.
No.
So
it's a facade on Instagram.
Right. So it's just really important to hear that it is like a process for people to understand that. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I also think there were two things that stuck out to me. First, because you were saying, with what you do, like you said, you're inviting people literally into your living room, into your kitchen. Was there any kind of pushback from your husband? Like, I don't know about opening up these doors in my house yet.
Definitely, for sure. And for me too, coming from the criminal defense world, I'm like, well, this is the blueprint for the criminal right here.
For sure.
Like, there's her back door.
Yeah.
So we definitely had those conversations and those concerns. And eventually I just kind of let go and let God. I was like, this is my passion, and it is probably some risk to it, I would say. I mean, obviously there's going to be some risk to just posting pictures of your home,
Right.
and people are on the internet with all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of motivations to do
Mm-hmm.
certain things. But I haven't had any issues, like
Good.
cross my fingers and knock on wood. But now my husband kind of sees it for what it is
Right.
and sees where it can go. And he's all for it. He's like, yeah, let's monetize this thing. Let's get this income
I know
going.
that's right. Get
He's
the.
on board now. He may not want to be on the
Mm-hmm.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but he's on board.
Oh, that's really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
And when you said it, you don't have to have like the 30,000 followers. Sorry to monetize. How many followers did you have when you first got your first brand?
Well, I think I was probably in the realm of about 2,000 when brands started reaching out to me. I haven't actually had to start doing the work to reach out to brands
That's awesome.
because in my mind, this is still fun for me, and
Right.
I'm making money, but I'm also, this is fun, and I
Mm-hmm.
have a full time job and two kids, so
Right.
um, so I was at 2,000. They started reaching out to me through DMs, and then I started to take it a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
seriously. And, I developed my Gmail account so that they could reach out to me through Gmail. But I'm considered a micro influencer because my following is less than 10,000. So you definitely don't have to have a really large following. What brands are really looking for is that you are engaging with the followers that you do have, and that those followers are interested in the content you're posting, because a lot of those accounts that you'll see with 20, 30, 100,000 followers, they bought and paid for some of those people,
Right.
and they're not engaging, they're bots, or they're just not interested. So we have the same amount of likes
Mm-hmm.
because I have real people
Exactly.
following me that are
Exactly.
interested in what I'm posting.
Yeah.
They follow me because they wanted to, not because I paid for it.
Hmm.
Right.
So, that's I guess one of the differences with, micro versus one of the larger accounts, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people don't understand that, like especially with brands, like you said, they're looking for the comments. Are you replying? The engagement,
Right.
because like you said, you could see people that have $15,000, 15. I keep saying dollars, 15,000, because it's
17
translating into dollars, right? 15,000 followers, but then they, most of their pictures only have maybe 100 likes, and it's like that really ain't adding
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it quite a bit. I've seen people that started out with me now that, happen overnight. And I'm just like, what, how in the world you go from like 5 to like 12,000 followers all
Right.
of a sudden?
Right.
And, it can be done. I just don't recommend it. And Instagram actually, if you believe, things that I've read out there about Instagram, they penalize you for stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And they stop pushing your content out
Oh
to
yeah, they police heavy now.
yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend it for sure.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that within like things that you learned along the way. So one of the things we wanted to kind of get into were what were for you maybe some of the obstacles that you dealt with as you were developing and building, or
Mm-hmm.
things you learned along the way. Maybe including the whole like, do I buy followers or not?
Well, I think that's probably the biggest thing, because everybody's goal on Instagram, if they're in a business, mindset and trying to make money, is to grow their following. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably the biggest thing. And just knowing, what buying followers will do to your engagement rate and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. The other thing I would say is just kind of learning to pivot, because like right now, Instagram is really focused on video content. So if you're the type of person who just wants to post a picture on your Instagram account, they may not, promote that as much as they're promoting video right now, so you kind of have to learn how to, adjust. They're
Right.
trying to be more like TikTok. So
Mm.
I'm not going to, make a dancing TikTok video, but, I will, like, I'll show you these curtains in a video. I'm not, I was telling my husband, I was like, I'm not going to twerk for some likes. So
Right.
that's not
Right.
going to
Right. Right.
happen.
Right. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Right.
So I mean,
Lord.
even getting into that, because I think we were kind of talking about it earlier. Like when you're talking about doing the reels and the IGTV, because I have
Yeah.
started seeing that pop up more in my feeds than
Mhm.
the pictures have. Um, what kind of equipment do you even use? Like, did you know what kind of equipment to use for cameras? Like, has it been a trial and error thing or
I mean, I know there's probably some people out there that use really fancy things, but I've just only always used my Android phone. I mean,
Android? Team
I
Android.
know I'm Team Android.
Don't roll your eyes, Lee. Don't do that.
Yes.
Really? So
Yeah,
that beautiful page is Android.
yeah,
Mm,
all taken from my phone.
wow.
Fine, but y'all mess up the group chats, which is great.
Right? Trust me, I've heard. But yeah, so just my phone and a tripod,
Wow.
usually with the ring light on it. So that's all I've really ever purchased. And then um, I know some people have used like, real heavy duty cameras.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about that. I probably haven't owned a camera since I was, I don't know. It's been some years. So
That
Mhm.
is really cool. So do you use editing software with the phone as well?
for photos, we use a lot of Instagram influencers use Lightroom to edit photos.
Okay.
I used to use filters on my pictures. I don't
Hmm.
do that anymore. I just kind of, play around with the settings in Lightroom. So that's a photo editing app.
Okay.
And then InShot, which is what we were talking about before
Mm.
we got started. That's a place where you can edit your video content before you bring it to Instagram Reels. Because trying to edit in the reel mode can be real challenging. So, InShot is just one of like many out there that you can use to edit your videos beforehand. But that's basically it. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it's real simple.
that is really cool. I mean, I think it's always interesting, to know about the engineer behind it because even you see these people's pages and you're like thinking, oh, they're professional. They're out on professional shoots every week. Like that's a cost that you
Absolutely
can't do
not.
with your startup. So it's just like it's really interesting that you're like, no, literally, it's just a phone, a tripod, and some
No,
good old apps.
Right.
exactly. I mean, I might take 100 photos.
Right.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not that much, and then decide, okay, I like that one. It
Mm-hmm.
does take me some time, to do that stuff. But there's nothing too technical about it. Just editing and figuring out how to get the lighting right in
Mm-hmm.
Lightroom and things of that nature, and making sure you take pictures when the sun is out so that you have some natural light in the room.
Hmm.
um, that's essentially it. There's nothing to. And then my house is
Mm-hmm.
usually not always picture perfect and picture ready. So I'm usually like moving some junk out of the way or
Right.
sweep some crumbs off the floor that my toddler put down. And I took the picture and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't see that ball of hair over there in the corner. Let me go mop that side of the floor. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, speaking of that, you just being very personable is one of the first things that I
Mm-hmm.
noticed on your page. I think
Yeah.
it makes you super relatable. And so, one of your posts said, I can't remember what the post was, but you were like, I'm pretty sure I'm a hoarder. So, it begs the
Mm-hmm.
question, like, what do you do with all of this stuff, this fabulous stuff that you have between seasons?
Right.
Well, to be very, very candid, my guest room was not usable for a long time. The closet was completely full, so I
Mm.
started using the floor around the bed, and it was bad. And
Yeah.
then COVID hit, and it got even worse because we weren't having any guests. So I was like, put it in the guest room. Um, but then my husband's sister wanted to visit, and I had to get the stuff together. So I've
Mm-hmm.
kind of organized it now, and I've given away a lot of stuff because my style has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not so married to stuff. I've kind of, I don't know, you kind of get ingrained that when you buy, especially big pieces of furniture, we're going to stick with this furniture. We're married to this furniture.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So I'm not so much in that mindset. I'm going to sell it and try to recoup some of my money before
Mm.
I buy something else. But yeah, I've gotten myself a little more organized, and I just kind of store everything in the guest room closet where nobody can see it and we can actually have guests,
Right.
or upstairs in our attic, or even in the garage. But it's funny because my husband just suggested that we get a storage. So
I mean,
I
it's
don't think
not a
I have
bad
that much
idea.
stuff. I've
Business
kind of
business expense.
calm down. I think when you kind of realize what your design style is and you're
Hmm.
not jumping on the bandwagon for all trends,
Right.
Yeah.
you kind of like focus and you're not buying any and everything. So I've calmed down a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, the next time Legally Domesticated needs to get rid of some stuff, call Divas and Ducats,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
And I have a
Absolutely.
further question. Like, what? How would you describe your design
yeah.
style?
That's a good question. And I don't know that I have like a concrete answer because like I said, it is evolving. I think when I
Hmm.
first started, I was really like Chip and Joe,
Hmm.
farmhouse all the
Hmm.
way.
Hmm.
And then I was like, one day, I don't want these baskets everywhere. And I don't want a barn door. And, I'm not into that anymore. And I
Hmm.
think it had a lot to do with the fact that they weren't on TV for a couple of years too when the show ended. But yeah, it's kind of more so just a modern maybe take on
Yeah.
farmhouse with a little boho. Um, I like dark cabinets now, where when I moved into my home, I had to have a white kitchen.
Mm.
So I think, like I said, it's okay not to be married to something. It's okay to change something in your house. So um, it's just kind of evolving,
Hmm.
which means that you're probably going to be buying more stuff and changing it up,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in this, I mean, business, there obviously, like you say, you have kids and you have a husband, so there's a family dynamic to it. How involved are they in the business? Like, do the kids want to like learn to take pictures? Do they are they learning to decorate?
They love it.
Okay.
Like they love, especially when a season comes around, and I'm like decking the house out for Halloween or decking
Yeah.
the house out for Easter or something like that. So they love that, and then just trying to take photos with them around is a challenge because they're always trying to like stick a foot in the picture or do something crazy. Um, my husband, on the other hand, he's not so into it. Like he's not a social media person.
Hmm.
He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So if he's on Instagram, it's because I put him on there and I ask for forgiveness later. So,
Right. I know that's right. And I'm
yeah,
also very interested in the balance of, I mean, because it's basically you're working three full-time jobs. If you talk about the children and being a mother,
right.
that's a job in itself. You have a career, and then you have your whole, legally domesticated. So how do you, one, how do you balance it all? Like, what do you do to balance those things? And then also, as you were starting legally domesticated, because I think sometimes people have a passion but feel like they don't understand the hours that you have to put into it to grow, even if you have a career, right? So like talk about realistically that the amount of time it actually took to grow that as well.
Well, I will say this. I think just kind of having a focus on what you want to focus on and sticking to that, and then planning out your content helps.
Hmm.
Kind of drive your time that you spend on it. So for me, I'm not waking up and thinking, what am I going to post today? And,
Right.
just spending an um, a not predetermined time, on that
Hmm.
task.
Yeah.
I kind of sit down beforehand and say, I want to post, these reels, or I want to focus on these brand collaborations this week or these partnerships, before I get into posting them so
Hmm.
that I'm not taking up my day when I'm supposed to be logged in at work,
Right.
doing it. So I'll
Right.
focus on it a lot of times after my kids go to bed or during the day, take a lunch break and snap some photos while the lighting's good.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is time consuming,
Yeah.
especially when you're getting into like video editing and trying to pick the right songs, and it's all it's it's also like a driver for you, for me especially, because I'm like, okay, this is my hobby. I'm really interested in it. When it doesn't become fun, or when I'm not feeling it, I definitely take my breaks and I don't
Hmm.
post.
Hmm.
there's a lot of time spent on it. And when I first started out, I would be up like 2 a.m. working on like a project or a DIY that I wanted to put on my feed for the next day. But I'm a little bit more organized now.
Mm-hmm.
So with planning the content, that really definitely helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So for those who are looking to get into maybe a similar field or platform, what advice, kind of being a little bit more of a veteran, would you give?
For somebody who's looking to be an Instagram influencer,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, find your passion, and kind of focus on that, because I think, like I said, with Instagram kind of like changing over to like really promoting video content, I've noticed a lot of people, doing a lot of that TikTok stuff. And
Right.
I personally, I feel like if I'm following you for home decor, I don't want to see you, doing a TikTok dance on my feed all of a sudden.
Right.
So I think, are you focusing on lifestyle? Are you focusing on home decor? Are you focusing on like the clothes that you want to wear? Find your focus,
Yeah.
and just put out good content, good quality content, and your followers will come and you'll grow organically that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to talk a little bit more about like to know it, because I know that you use that heavily with Legally Domesticated. For those that are unfamiliar, how does it work?
Well, so it's a shopping app, like I said. So if anybody wants to know where you purchase stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they can follow you. They can download the app and follow you, or they can click a link to get to the website, and they'll see a picture that you posted directly on Instagram. It corresponds to the same photo on Like to Know It, and it'll have shoppable links
Oh, okay.
there. So you can click on, if you see, I don't know, a basket in my home and you want to know where I got it from in the photo, you can click on the photo, click on the product, and it'll take you directly to say Target. And all you have to do essentially is add it to cart. And then for the influencer who wants to be a part of Like to Know It, it's the way that you can monetize yourself. In addition to getting direct payments directly from brands, you can also get it through the Like to Know It app. So when they click on that link, you get a percentage of what it is that they purchase. They call it affiliate links. So, and it's at no cost to the person who is clicking on the link. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's basically how that works.
Cool. Thank you. And
Indeed.
yeah, and you're Like to Know It. For those that are going to go to Legally Domesticated, it's in your bio link, or do you click on the post and it does it?
There's a link in my bio.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it is. There's no way that you can
Right.
from Instagram, unfortunately. Yeah.
Now, do you also have a heavy Facebook presence?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I had started a Facebook account, but I'm just, I'm on there for my family, basically.
Okay.
To stay connected, because they're all in Florida and I'm here in Charlotte by myself. So
Yeah.
yep.
I've noticed even like with business, especially with those that are selling products, it is easier to scroll it through on Instagram versus on Facebook. So I was just curious about which platform you choose to use heavier for Legally Domesticated.
No, and it's a lot of work too,
Yeah.
double posting for both apps. Because I know you guys are
Yeah,
both
because you got to
too. I know
change
that's probably a
links.
lot.
Yeah, it is. It is for
There's
sure.
different capabilities for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really, really great and super helpful, with the apps and stuff that you've laid out, and just, telling people that I think it's just really encouraging to know that you don't have to have, the 20, 30,000 followers in order to monetize. It's about your content. It's about being consistent. It's about putting out a good product, right?
Exactly.
And like you said, the followers will come. So for those that are our listeners, are part of our Diva family, where can they find Legally Domesticated?
You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, even as Legally Domesticated, and of course, Like to Know It as Legally Domesticated. I just started up a new account called Legally Domesticated Gardens. So if you're interested in gardening,
Mm. Awesome. So, like, what? Let's talk about that. Is the
all
gardening
right.
more like plants, or is it like food? Both.
I just grew tomatoes this year
Okay.
for the first time, but no, I usually just do annuals and perennials in my garden. It's been an evolving
Mm-hmm.
thing. When I first moved in my house, I was afraid to put the shovel in the ground and do anything. But now, like I'm garden gloves. I'm out there in the heat. I'm doing it.
I
So
love that.
mulching, all that.
I love it. I love it.
Right?
All
Mhm.
right. Well, we would definitely have that information in our episode notes. You all, thank you so much, Chandra, for being here. You make sure you go follow her.
Thank you for
I mean, there's
having
a lot of ideas. Like I said, I click on it all the time. Like, oh, where she get that? So, so
me.
yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for being here with us.
Yes, for
And
sure.
do we have any announcements quick? We don't have time today for a Dear Diva, but if you do want to reach out to us, we are divaadvice@gmail.com. And do you have a tip?
I don't have a tip. Go follow Legally Domesticated. And make sure that you follow us, of course, Divas and Ducats. If you're here on YouTube, click that button below. Make sure that you
Yes.
subscribe so you'll get notified of when we post a new video. We are on Instagram and Facebook under the same name.
Yes. And I did think of one. So, you guys, we are going to host a Black Wealth Summit.
Yes, we are.
As a part of We Were Real Wealth. They do a Black Wealth Summit every year. This is their third year, and we will be your virtual host. You can get tickets on www.theblackwealthsummit.net. It's October 1st and 2nd. It's 2 days in person in Greenville, South Carolina, or you can attend virtually because COVID. So go ahead and get those tickets. We will soon have in our link a discount code, say the decade. So we are so excited, but we wanted to just put that little bug in your ear a couple months early.
Awesome. And yes, you can definitely click the link in our bio, and it will take you directly to the link to be able to purchase tickets. So
All right,
until
in the
next
meantime,
time, have a great attitude.
Ladies.
bye.
Thanks.